Today's goal is to find the original amount given the new amount after a given percent increase or decrease. So in the first example, we are to compare and contrast the situations below. Situation 1. In the spring, an animal shelter had 216 animals. By the end of the summer, this number decreased by 25%. How many animals were at the shelter at the end of the summer? Okay, so to do this problem with a diagram, we're going to draw a rectangle to represent our tape diagram, and that's going to be 100%, which is the amount of animals we had in the spring, the amount of animals we started with, which is the 216 animals. That amount is going to decrease by 25%. So I'm going to take my diagram here and I'm going to split it into 4 sections to represent 25% each. So each section represents 25%. And we have to fill in the numbers that go inside this tape diagram. To do that, we're going to take our 216 animals and divide by 4 sections in our tape diagram, and that's going to equal 54. So each of these boxes is going to get a 54 written inside of it. And if you were to add 54 plus 54 plus 54 plus 54, you would end up with our original 216 animals. Okay, but these 216 animals, some of them are getting adopted, which means that we are going to reduce this amount by 25%. So we're going to take one of those boxes away. That leaves us with the 3 remaining boxes, which represents 75%, and that is how many animals are left at the end of summer. So we can figure that out by doing 54 times 3, and that tells me there are 162 animals left at the end of the summer. The follow-up question says, is 216 the part, the new amount, or is it the whole, the original amount? And in this case, it was the whole. It was our starting amount. It was how many animals we had before the adoptions happened. Okay, if we look at the second situation, it says, after advertising for adoptions on local television, an animal shelter decreased the number of animals at the shelter by 25%. There are now 216 animals. How many animals were at the shelter before advertising? Okay, so we're using the same numbers here. We still have 216 animals. We still have a decrease of 25%. So we're going to start this problem the same way. We're going to draw a tape diagram that represents 100%, the starting amount. Since we're decreasing by 25%, I'm again going to split this into 4 sections so that each one represents 25%. The difference this time is that 216 is not our original amount or our starting amount. It is our ending amount. It's how many animals are left after we have decreased by 25%. So I'm going to cross one of these 25% off, even though I don't know what numbers go in there yet, because the 216 doesn't get represented by all the boxes. It only gets represented by 3 of the boxes this time. So to figure out what number goes inside each box in our tape diagram, I'm going to take my 216 animals, and this time I'm going to divide by 3 boxes. So 216 divided by 3 is equal to 72. So this time in my tape diagram, each of the 4 boxes gets filled with a 72. And the question they were asking us was how many animals were at the shelter before the adoptions happened. That means they want to know the original amount, which means we have to take our 72 animals per box times all 4 boxes, and the answer there is 288 animals. Okay, so this time the 216 was the part. It was the new amount, and the whole was what we were trying to find.